great to have you here. Obviously with 40 Days for Life. Tell me your name again. Steve?
Yes.
Steve, so great to have you here.
Great to be here. Thank you.
So you're with 40 Days for Life here in Canada. Is this your
I'm
area?
the director of the director of North American Outreach. So I've got, big territory. But
So you were in Wisconsin?
I still am.
Okay,
I
so
still
that's
am.
where you live, in
Yes.
Wisconsin. Okay. And then you come up to Canada. How
Correct.
has 40 Days for Life been received here in Canada?
It's really grown. When it started, nobody thought that it was something that could take off here. They thought it's an American style of pro-life activism. It'll never work outside the U.S. And the people of Canada have really proven them wrong.
Yeah. Now, in the United States, we stand out in front of Planned Parenthood. Where do you all stand out and pray?
Here in Canada?
Yes.
At the places where the abortions are done, and at the hospitals, at the standalone abortion facilities, that's where these vigils are taking place.
Okay.
See, that's a bit more unusual when you say at the hospitals, because ours are majority in stand-up places individually scattered around. But I guess this is just a part of the governmental structure and healthcare here in Canada, so a lot is happening at the hospitals.
Absolutely. A lot of it's government funded and it's right integrated. So, in the States, a lot of times it's kind of on the margins. Planned Parenthood is kind of on the margins. Even as they've tried to mainstream themselves, it's all kind of done off to the side. And so when they can get it in the hospitals, then it becomes, what you consider mainstream healthcare.
Where do you, where are, or how many are the abortion facilities here in the area?
I don't know how many of them there are. There's a ton of 40 Days for Life campaigns here.
Yes.
It's gone from coast to coast. We had one up in the Yukon this year. We had one up in Prince George's, British Columbia. So it's really been all over the country from coast to coast.
And are you getting the same representation that we're getting in the States, being Protestant and Catholic, a really good representation of the church?
You've seen the whole body of Christ come together. I mean, it's different in every community. Every community has its own local flavor, but you're seeing people of every different faith tradition that are getting involved in this.
Good. Thank God.
Tell us about the basic, sometimes we chat like everybody knows 40 Days for Life, and a lot of people do, but what are the key components or principles of 40 Days for Life, and are these transferable country to country?
Absolutely. There are really three components of 40 Days for Life: prayer and fasting, community outreach, and that peaceful, constant vigil in front of the abortion facilities. And we believe that's something that can work anywhere because we believe prayer works anywhere. The Lord answers prayers from anybody in any different language, in any different location. It's the one sort of effort that we know is never in vain. The Lord always answers prayers. Do we see it right away? Not always, but I'm confident that even if it's not until we get to heaven, we're going to know that those prayers made an impact in this world.
Well, I used to do sidewalk counseling for years and kind of fell away from it and got into teaching sex and family education in an abstinence program. And then 40 Days for Life came. And we spearheaded up the program in Birmingham, Alabama. And then that got me back out on the streets. And I was like, yes, this I could do, this I could do. Now we're directing a pregnancy medical center in
Praise
Birmingham.
God.
But to say yes and to encourage you to come back out. So if you're out there and you said, I haven't been involved in 40 Days for Life, what is it? What should I do? Go to 40 Days for Life.
40daysforlife.com. You can sign up for the email address up in the upper right-hand corner of the website, and you get the updates, you get the daily prayer devotionals, and you know then that you're praying the same prayers in unison with people in the U.S., in Canada, in Australia, in Croatia, in Moscow, Russia. It's really a very powerful means of bringing the body of Christ together from all different geographic locations.
Right. It's so
And
beautiful.
there's so many aspects to the pro-life movement that need to be working together and are working together. But you just think of the prayer that goes into it, or you think about being here at Parliament, encouraging young people to run for office, encouraging people to be registered to vote. How many of us are not registered to vote? Right? It's incredible. Okay, but some people would say to you, because 40 Days for Life not necessarily is involved with encouraging people to run for office. You're not against it. That's not your particular call. You're directly there, prayer on site. What would you say to people that say, well, the laws are so extreme in Canada, the laws are so extreme in the United States of America, you need to change the law. Why are you just out there, kind of 1 or 2 people or 5 people, 10 people, 100 people, or whatever out there? The whole thing of protest, being out there, offering resources, what difference does it really make?
It's a great question. And, we see 40 Days for Life, we see prayer as an engine that's going to bear fruit in every other different form of field. We think that prayer and witness on the sidewalks will make our pregnancy centers more effective. We think the legislative fruits that we see from our politicians will be a fruit of prayer. And really, I saw a quote recently that really inspired me. It said, here down in the States, of course, Roe versus Wade was our Supreme Court decision, but the guy said, every time someone sees your witness out on the streets and chooses life, Roe versus Wade is being overturned one person at a time. And we're seeing the laws, whether they're the provincial laws here or the national laws in Canada, our laws in the United States, throughout the world, whatever the abortion laws are, when that witness inspires a woman, empowers a woman to choose life for her child, that's overturning unjust laws one individual at a time. I think that's powerful.
Very, very powerful indeed. So there's a place for everyone in the movement.
No doubt. Many parts, but all one body.
Yeah, but I mean, in 40 Days for Life in particular, you want that constant prayer vigil out there. But some people are saying, well, can I be a part of the vigil and not be out there? Can I pray where I am as well as do that? Have others do that.
Absolutely.
So they can join in the prayer.
People can pray from wherever, from home, from church, but we do really encourage people, if they can, if you're cloistered, you can. There's some people who just can't, but we encourage if people are able to get out to the vigil site. It's intimidating the first time, but I very, very rarely meet someone who goes out one time and says, that's enough, I'm never coming back. Usually they're moved, they're convicted, they recognize what's at stake, and there's such a difference between someone who's never been out at the vigil and has been out there one time compared with someone who's been out there one versus a million times. Just being out there the one time is usually all the motivation that someone needs to keep coming back and really make it a part of their life.
40 Days for Life, 40daysforlife.org.
.com.
All righty, we're going to throw it back.